Hello folks, I'm the old sergeant. I sent an email to Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa about the events in Afghanistan, especially that the State Department was stopping the Nazarene Fund and other private organizations from flying people out of Afghanistan with clearance to land in other countries. Here is that letter.
Thank you for sharing with me your thoughts regarding the situation in Afghanistan. I know this is an emotional issue for many Americans. I appreciate your concerns regarding the withdrawal of United States military presence from Afghanistan and your support to evacuate Christians from Afghanistan. It is an understatement to say that I remain deeply disappointed that our withdrawal was not planned and managed more carefully. The devastating attacks that have unfolded, resulting in the deaths of over a dozen United States service members and civilians, with many more wounded, is stomach-turning and heartbreaking. These tragic deaths are the first fatalities in Afghanistan in 18 months and one of the deadliest attacks in the history of United States involvement in Afghanistan. These brave United States service members were notably aiding their fellow Americans and Afghan allies, and we owe them a debt of gratitude for their service. My prayers are with the families of those fallen American heroes, for our allies who also suffered from this attack, and for those continuing to serve our country with honor and bravery as this mission continues under dangerous circumstances. However, the rapid and complete Taliban takeover of the country that we have witnessed, even before all Americans have been evacuated, and now the deadly consequences of the hasty withdrawal, was not inevitable. The Obama, Trump and Biden administrations each signaled intentions to withdraw United States military troops in Afghanistan, reflecting consensus among the American people to bring home the troops after 2 decades in the country. In August of 2017, the Trump administration announced a new Afghanistan war strategy to address the deteriorating situation in the country and focusing on a conditions-based withdrawal. This policy afforded the Pentagon more flexibility in operations, placed more pressure on Pakistan to end its support for the Afghan Taliban, and set no specific target date for withdrawal but rather focused on conditions on the ground. President Trump later authorized direct United States Taliban talks. When some troops started being withdrawn while negotiations were still ongoing and without a clear exit plan in place, I publicly warned President Trump that this would embolden the Taliban. A draft peace agreement was announced in February 2019, but the Taliban continued to execute its annual spring offensive, causing a cessation in the peace talks. A high-profile prisoner released by the Taliban in December 2019 led President Trump to announce that the United States would resume negotiations with the Taliban, and on February 29, 2020, a United States-Taliban peace agreement was announced requiring the Taliban to sever its ties with al-Qaeda and other terrorist organizations, reduce violence within Afghanistan, and enter into political negotiations with the Afghan government. For its part, the United States agreed to a withdrawal from Afghanistan over a period of months. I was extremely skeptical at the time of any commitments made by the Taliban. Each time a president telegraphed a specific timeline to withdraw troops, I've cautioned how an arbitrary deadline would undermine our mission and empower the Taliban. And now we see what's happening on President Biden's watch. The Biden administration conducted a review of United States strategy in Afghanistan and announced that the United States would seek to withdraw all United States troops in the country, setting a new deadline of September 11, 2021. This decision overrode the advice of top military leaders who argued that keeping a small number of special operations forces and advisors was necessary to prevent a resurgence of the Taliban. Also, support to the Afghan military in the form of intelligence, air support, and civilian contractor maintenance of equipment was curtailed even before the pullout was complete, which likely exacerbated the demoralization of Afghan forces. I share the desire of so many Americans to end United States military operations in Afghanistan, but I have been concerned each time a president proposed a specific timeline that a precipitous withdrawal based on arbitrary deadlines irrespective of conditions on the ground would empower those that actively seek to harm the United States and could lead to chaos. As we have seen, the Biden administration had no consideration for a conditions-based withdrawal and had no contingency plan to address the threats from the Taliban. I have also heard from many Iowans who are concerned about the United States military assets in Afghanistan. I am also deeply troubled about the United States military assets seized by the Taliban. I am asking the Department of Defense for a full accounting on our military equipment in Afghanistan paid for by United States taxpayers, including assets seized by the Taliban. On the eve of the 9/11 anniversary, this is a gut punch for the American people. You can read the letter sent to Secretary Lloyd Austin on this critical issue. Furthermore, we have a moral responsibility to ensure the safety of the many Afghans who helped and supported United States operations and whose lives are in danger under the Taliban. The fact that there was not a plan in place to at least ensure the safety of these individuals until they could be evacuated is a national embarrassment. The scenes of desperate Afghans clinging to United States military aircraft taking off from the Kabul airport is reminiscent of the fall of Saigon in 1975. It represents similar broken promises and loss of national honor, the repercussions of which will be felt long into the future. My heart also goes out to all the Afghan women and girls who will see their rights disappear under Taliban rule. As you may know, the Nazarene Fund is an organization that focuses on protection for persecuted religious and ethnic minorities including Christians. The Nazarene Fund was working with the State Department to charter flights from the Kabul airport to assist with the evacuation from Afghanistan. Due to the deteriorating situation in Afghanistan and lack of a plan to maintain security during the evacuation, many planes were leaving the tarmac partially filled or empty, if they were even able to successfully land at the airport. I certainly share your desire to ensure that people of faith are free from persecution and free to practice their religion. As a Christian, I am bothered by efforts to persecute Christians and other religious minorities around the world. It grieves me to know that anyone is persecuted based on their personal beliefs. Throughout my career I have always been a staunch supporter of religious freedom. As more details come to light and as Congress demands answers from the Biden administration on this incompetent withdrawal, I will keep your concerns in mind. Though right now, our country's focus should remain squarely on getting every single American and ally out of harm's way. Politics can wait. But the day will come when questions about this disorganized and disastrous exit will have to be answered. Americans deserve accountability from leaders who ignored warnings and put us in this catastrophic situation. Your comments will be helpful to me as the Senate considers policy related to Afghanistan as well as the future of the Afghan people, both in and outside of Afghanistan, going forward. Again, thank you for your input. Please keep in touch. Senator Chuck Grassley.
This was the standard cut and paste boilerplate reply with a history lesson and nothing about the State Department refusing clearance for private rescue organizations from getting people out of Afghanistan. Recently, the Nazarene Fund and the Deliver Fund organization got 23 young women soccer players and their families out of Afghanistan. Because the young girls had dared to play sports, they were marked by the Taliban to be RAPE slaves. They did this with nothing but obstruction from the American State Department. This letter is not satisfactory for the main issue I discussed in my letter to the senator. I have put a link to the letter to the Secretary of Defense by numerous senators referred to in this letter. I am the old sergeant. Stay informed, prepared, active, prayerful, and as always, stay vigilant.